We can sit here and chop it up all day, but we got three questions,
Okay.
right? First question is obviously generally geared toward a race car driver, and you are a race car driver at heart, and you just happen to be exceptional at working on them. If you had to pick one car and one racetrack to race out the rest of your life, what do you go with?
410 World of Outlaws sprint car, Eldora.
Oh,
Separate the men from the boys every day. Get
And
up.
that's why running like that, as Billy Pouch tells me all the time, he said, you may not have a long life running like that.
Yeah. You might be here for a couple of weeks. But
Yeah.
it was fun while it
Yeah.
lasted. What about my choice? Would be probably T-Rex at Charlotte.
Yeah. T-Rex, but untouched and back in 97.
Yeah,
I go look
so
at that. I went and looked
T-Rex,
at that car a couple weeks ago.
T-Rex, when we hit the combination of that car, because that was the first slam to ground. That was all, honestly, by let's just mess around and try this.
Yeah.
And just put equal springs in it and put a bigger bar and put that thing on the ground. That was an eye-opener.
Yeah, that was better.
an eye-opener. And I always say that had anybody else been driving that car that night, it'd still been legal, but would tend to go. Jeff decided he's going to show everybody how fast it would go.
Ooh. Did you race it in the 600 the
No,
following week?
No, it was
no.
illegal
When I
the
got
next
called,
day.
I don't know how much time we got, but I'll tell you how
Enough
that
time for this.
We went through all the, hey, we win, whatever. Buster, remember old Buster? Buster says, hey, Mr. France wants to see you in the truck. So I thought I was going to go up there and have beer, and we were going to talk about how good the race was, because that's the way Bill was, right? So, and if you remember, well, not a lot of cell phones and all that at that time. Used to go in the front of you might be too young for this, but we used to get in front of the hauler there, and there was this beige phone. They had the phone line. That's where the hauler was hooked into the telephone pole and all that. And I walk in there, and Bill's sitting there, and, it was Winston, so he smoked all the time. There's smoke in there. Walk in there, and he goes, how you doing? I said, good. Hey, but, he says, see that phone right there? I said, yeah. He said, you need to pick that up and call your boss and tell him that car's illegal. And I said, no, it's not. Bill, it passed all the inspection. Went through. We're cleared. It meets all the rules. And he goes, won't tomorrow. And that was it. So that we couldn't even bring it back for the 600. Yeah. So and then it
was a bad
we
year.
tried to modify it, but it just never was what it was. The whole secret to that car was when we got it down in the front and got the back up. Because think about, all right, you're already loose. You're running Charlotte in the daytime. You got a car that's just not sticking. And the crew chief says, hey, look, here, just bear with me, but I'm gonna drop the front springs and equal the front springs, and I'm gonna raise the rear springs. And you're like,
No, you're not.
yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm already puckered up to
But
begin with.
and Jeff be like, yeah, all right. And it went out and went a full second faster than our other car that we had sat on the pole with a year before. And it was, he missed he slid through the pits in qualifying. Remember they used to do that speed deal?
Oh, yeah.
He came off the track at like 160 something and stood on the gas, and he goes by us with all four wheels locked up, and smoking, and he goes, the brakes ain't working. I was like, the wheels are locked up there, bud. But so we started last, and just that thing was it was, you don't get many of those.
No, that's why the legend of T-Rex precedes itself.
Yeah, well, it's getting bigger. The story's gotten
Like
bigger
any
over the
good
years.
story,
Yeah,
it's like Sasquatch.
That's right.
Because they go, oh, you won all the segments. Well, we didn't. We didn't really win all the segments with T-Rex.
Question number 2, Ray. What's the most embarrassed you've ever been at the racetrack?
Oh, boy. When I ran the car out of fuel, we were leading at Winston. I guess that was 98. We were leading to Winston with one lap to go, and ran out of fuel in a short race like that. It was just a mistake on my
But
part.
preface this, you put less fuel in on purpose to have less weight. Nobody was really doing that yet.
No, we had a lot of wild stuff going on, back then, on stuff that you knew it was such a short race and you really didn't care if them, crazy motor stuff, transmissions, gears, axles, all kind of stuff, right? And I was like, we're going to gain some front weight, and we're going to be like right out of gas, because a lot of people would come in, and we won a lot of races at Rockingham and Darlington like this, and I watched people do it. There'd be 30 laps to go at Darlington, and they just pull, and you're like, right,
6 pounds a gallon, buddy.
And at Darlington, we had a time where we were only doing 1 can of fuel all day because the tires would only go that far. And so, I was all about weight back then, and
It matters.
man, yeah, I felt like it did, and unfortunately, they called back that restart, and I guess that ate up a couple caution laps and
Enough.
2 green, and Ben, we were done. So No excuse. That one's on me. I told him that was a gas was 200,000 a gallon. Now, if you think gas is expensive,
That's
now,
about what it is right now. Put that thing through the Hormuz Strait. Question number 3. I've had the Men in Black pen here, and I got to zap all of your racing memories, but you only got to keep one. Which one did you keep?
How long's a memory? Is that like a one night thing? Is that
Could be post Flemington crash.
Oh, I was going to say.
Well, there's no memories from that, so that
Yeah,
was
I know.
safe.
I used the Flemington crash and head injury to my advantage lotto guy. I really don't remember.
Yeah, AD and BC.
Sorry to forget your name. I hit the
Yeah.
fence.
98 season, that championship, that night, being able to look at Jeff and the crew, and we'd come so far, right? We didn't start till 93, and by 98 that was our 3rd championship, and we won all those races. So that memory of being able to look out into that crowd and look at the faces of the people that had put so much into it, and just that memory of, I think, when you talk about a big accomplishment, it's not really a race or a trophy. It's that being part of that team that, like that night, we just knew, like, look, we're going to be a part of history, whether people like us, not like us, whatever, we're part of history. So that memory.
That was the refuse to lose team.
That was the refuse to lose team.
Well, they damn refused it. I can promise you.